And we need to go to the doctor so much more because we don't know who our fathers are. We don't know our historical background. So if I didn't know my dad, I would miss knowing that my grandfather had colon cancer.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Dads on Purpose, the podcast. I'm your host, as always, Josh Ashford, man, and I got the big homie KB, Mr. Kevin Brigance. How you doing, bro?
What up, baby? See, that's why I need the soundboard. Nah, what's up, y'all? I'm so excited to be here. Dads on Purpose podcast. What's up?
I love the energy. I love it. And we are not recording at night for a long time. So it's the middle of the day. So we got energy. So we good, y'all. Because y'all know we usually record these at like 9 o'clock at night. And your boy be tired. That's all I'm saying.
Holding on. Just holding on.
Yo, we got some high powered, high dollar, high degreed guest on here today, man. We got Dr. Robert. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Y'all, he just came off the night shift, so you see him drinking his coffee. That's like a quadruple espresso.
That's not just a coffee. That's a woo.
Yo, man, I'm excited to have this conversation. I don't know where it's gonna go, man, but I'm excited to have you on. Man, it's good to have a doctor on here, like a brother doctor. Like, that's your name, brother doctor.
Brother doctor.
Change your Instagram handle to brother doctor.
Change it right now.
Hey, we gotta talk about this, man, because I was on your IG and he was talking about something that we really need to do as men, and that is doing self-examinations in the shower. So he talking about, if you are 15 and older, you need to do a testicular cancer examination in the shower. And I was like, I said a 15-year-old is already self-examining himself. my man grabbed a lemon and showed you how to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, it was like I was watching it and I was like, okay. but it's like something we don't talk about.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I was like, it was funny, but then I was just like, maybe I do need to check. But he was, y'all, I love it. I just wish you didn't use the lemons.
It was the only round things that I had around, and I was trying to do something that wasn't too graphic, but it was quick to the point across. So I just had lemons.
Man, how do you make things sound not smart? If it's
not smart,
yeah, like for us, you know what I mean? Like me and Kev, we went to UNT. Shout out. We got degrees, but we didn't get degrees. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like how do you make things sound not smart?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to be relatable, to make sure that you have a message that people can not only understand, but kind of appreciate. And so one area in particular that I've found that useful is in the discussion about the coronavirus vaccine. Whenever I started posting about that, I got so much of a response from people about that.
Was it good or bad though?
Both. Good and bad. And I never set out to change anybody's opinion.
Yeah.
I respect if you want to get it, if you don't want to get it, I respect it. But I just have to it's kind of like my duty to spread the information because there's so much misinformation out there. Nice. So, but yeah, I try to just kind of present things in a way that I think people will get and respond to favorably, hopefully, if that's possible. And most people did respond pretty positively too. I had one guy yesterday who said that because of a conversation that we had, he went ahead and signed up to get vaccinated yesterday. So
nice. Nice. Hey, I got a question. Like, what's one of the biggest misinformation about COVID that's out there, especially amongst the African American and Latino communities?
Bro,
like,
we don't have that much time.
I said one.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that there's a mistrust, and I get that because of our history. Because of our history, we have reason to mistrust the medical community.
Mm-hmm. The whole government, all of them.
Yeah. And so it's like, can you really blame people? And even today, sometimes people are not treated fairly based on their skin color whenever they go to the hospital, when they go to the emergency room. And so that's why I feel like if they see somebody who looks like them, giving them the information, they might be more receptive to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's real. And that's in, go ahead, Kev.
No, go ahead. Well,
no, I was just saying, like, that's so true in any situation, because even when you go to sell your house, if you look like us, you need to take your pictures down, because that's going to lower the value, which is crazy. And it's just that, I mean, but that's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole other podcast. But that, and I think, and for us, that's why we really tried hard to find a Black doctor that looked like us, because we needed someone where Kendall can say, number one, I learned this early in my professional life. Hey, if I'm the one that's in the financial field, then I'm the professional. But don't ask me to come out there and put a roof on your house, and I'm talking about numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So going to the doctor, number one, I trust the doctor system. Oh, man, bro, I went to college. So like, you have to be insane to get your doctorates and go through medical schools just to be a complete bleepity bleep. You know what I mean? Like, so we went. We went with a doctor that looked like us, because number one, we wanted Kendall to always know that she can go anywhere. She can see herself anywhere. So we went with the doctor that looked like us. But then number two, she's the professional. So when it came to vaccines for our kid, she was like, "Is there anything that you don't want?" I was like, "Bro, you're the professional. Listen, if something happens, I'm coming to you." I don't want to, because I recognize that this world is ever revolving, and there has been plagues, there has been diseases, that's already have been. And for me, COVID-19, well, what happened to COVID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
This is why we can't have nice things. You get on here and you're talking reckless. Where's COVID 20 at?
It's coming. Watch next year. This summer, they said this new variant. They said this variant. If these people don't get vaccinated, I'm done. Welcome to Pants on Purpose podcast,
and that's the end. Tune in next week when we got nobody. Yo, let's get into it, man.
Just cut all that out.
I'm not cutting none of that off. I look. If you know one thing, I don't cut out parts of the podcast. That's not true. I did cut out one part of something I said a couple weeks ago, but don't nobody notice, because it probably wasn't appropriate. So
it was not.
Whatever. It is what it is. Doc, man, I need you to help us out, bro. I need you to help us out, because since we got you here, it's always a topic of men's health. Because and like what that really looks like, because we all, we be in the gym sometimes and things like that, but then, we have a little Hennessy and some, ribs and hamburgers and things like that. So it's like, where's the balance, man? And I'm not asking you where the balance is to really answer that, but I want to know just like a couple things that like we should be doing, to watch ourselves. So like me, I get my prostate cancer runs in my family. And so I get my whatever the blood test is with the PSI. And I don't know. There you go. I get those, and then Kev's about to be 40, so he about to get going night. Get the colonoscopy, boy. And so, but I mean, those are like, obviously those are two things of cancer. But what can we do on an everyday, basis to really just like be like, okay, this is what I should be doing?
Yeah. I mean, the best place to start is to have a primary care doctor, which it sounds like both of you, are getting medical attention. So many guys don't, though. So many guys are afraid of going to the doctor.
My dad.
My barber, we had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and, he was saying that he's just kind of scared to go. He hasn't been since high school.
Wait. Why is he scared? My dad doesn't like to go because he thinks they're all lying and crooks and just want to take his money.
Yeah.
But my dad's an OG gangster, and he just like, I don't trust him. I'm like, who you gonna trust?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys are afraid of getting bad news. They're afraid of getting, the colonoscopy. Is it going to hurt? They're afraid of getting the digital rectal exam. But, a lot of these
Is it going to hurt? No, is it going to hurt? Because I want to know.
It depends.
No, boo.
Hold on. What you mean? So you're trying to alleviate fears. And you can talk about people scared that it might hurt, and then when we ask you, is it gonna hurt? You say it depends. If your child came to you and said, "Daddy, is this gonna hurt?" and you responded with, "It depends," how you think that's gonna go?
I'm always straightforward with people. I mean, most people, it doesn't hurt, and I mean, I haven't done a digital rectal exam on somebody since medical school. So it's not something that I do routinely.
So is there two different kinds
of exams? So with prostate cancer screening, there's the digital rectal exam, and then there's what you discussed, the prostate specific antigen, which is a blood test. And so which one you need kind of depends on your history and your age. And your doctor kind of makes that decision with you about which test you need. But those are the two screening tests. And then with the colon cancer screenings, you mentioned the colonoscopy. There's also the test that where they can use stool samples. And so
I like that.
Which one? Yeah. So which test you need depends on your history also.
Bro, I just don't like nobody touching me. Like when I was in, playing sports back in the day, I hated to go to the doctor and get my physical and get the hernia check. Like, why?
Yeah.
Cough. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get kicked off the show. Back to health. Okay. So besides getting medical treatment, your barber, he's scared. He's worried about it. It may or may not hurt. But is that just the general fear, or I mean, is there more to it, or?
I mean, those are the main reasons: fear of getting bad news, fear of things hurting. And so you just have to kind of point out to people that, simple checks and screenings really can prolong your life by quite a bit. Most colon cancers, if you catch them early, you can cure them. You don't want to wait until it's gotten to be so advanced to where now you need chemotherapy, you need surgery, you need radiation. A lot of times they can just, with the colonoscopy, find those polyps and just remove them. And then, have you come back in 5 years or so, and same, we talked about testicular cancer. If you can catch that early, it's 99% curable in the early phases. So.
And I think this conversation is so important because we die, 20 years younger than
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And it seems
like cut us off.
But it seems like so much more because not even just thinking about like and when I say natural death causes, I'm talking about like cancer and things that our body naturally does. We're also talking about like gun violence, suicide, and all that extra deal but even if what just hit me was if we're scared of going to the doctor, then how big is the fight for us to get the healthcare that we're fighting for in America? Does that make sense? Like, we really need to start change the mindset of the men to say, hey man, you need to go to the doctor. And then another thing. So that's one thing. That's one thing that hit my mind as Rob, when you was talking. That's one thing that hit my mind. The second thing that hit my mind was it's hard for a lot of men to be healthy, and we need to go to the doctor so much more because we don't know who our fathers are. We don't know our historical background. So if I didn't know my dad, I would miss knowing that my grandfather had colon cancer. So now that I'm going to the doctor, so I got over my fear of going to the doctor, and they're like, well, what's your family history?
And you don't know it.
You don't know it. So so for somebody like that, though, Rob, for somebody who doesn't know who their father is, and to be able to track that historical background, what's the encouragement for them to really start, going and getting checked and those things?
Yeah. And you mentioned how on average, the average lifespan of men is about 5 years less than that of women. But you have to not only look at the length of, your lifespan, but also how many good health years do you have? Because it's one thing to be 70 and to not be able to walk around, not be able to breathe well because you have developed, certain conditions. But, how many good health years do you have to where you're actually living well and having a good quality of life? So I think about that, all of us are working hard, trying to put away for retirement, and we want to be around for our families. And you don't want to get to an age to where you can't really enjoy life.
That's real good. That's real good. So what are some things that we can do like on a daily basis? Because I know like me, I try, except for in this Texas heat, Lord help us, because it's disrespectful hot. Like that's just what Texas is. Like it's like somebody spit in your face hot. I try to go for walks, bro, and just to keep it moving. And I go to my chiropractor on a monthly basis, and sometimes he watches the show, so shout out to him. And I post. If you ever see me posting workouts, is literally so that I can validate to him that I am working out and I'm really doing this. But like I like to go on walks. My family, we like to go on evening walks and things like that, just to keep moving, man. Because I think especially nowadays with this work from home, everybody is living a lot more sedentary lifestyle. And like you're not getting up. Like at the office, you used to have to get up and go to the copier, or you would get up, go talk to Tammy over there. Like, hey, what you doing, girl? Da, 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 da. And then you go back to your desk. And so you get up more often than you think you do. But now that you at home and you got your little Fitbit on, you only getting 1,500 steps a day. Like you done gone to the bathroom and you done got lunch.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. So I'm like, what are some things besides obviously moving that we can do on a daily basis? Cause I'm trying to be there. Like we want to be there for our kids, right?
Yeah. And Rob, think about like even in your situation, like you got 2 babies. You got and I ain't talking about no like my 12-year-old going on 13. She ain't came out of her room all morning. You know what I mean? Nope. But you have somebody that's pulling at you that needs your attention. So also think about fathers, because I think for me, I wanted to be healthy, but I also wanted to be available for my kid. So being available for my kid kind of neglected the actual workout I should be getting. Does it make sense? So I'm moving, but I'm not moving to burn calories, and that's what I try. So go ahead and answer, and I talk more later.
Yeah. I mean, as far as exercise, like you mentioned, the recommendation that most of us have heard, you want to get moving for about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. But recently, back in 2018, they updated the recommendation to include at least 2 days a week of strength training. And so we have to be lifting weight.
I didn't see that memo.
As we get older, our amount of muscle mass goes down each year as we get older. And so what happens with that is your metabolism starts to go down. And so, whenever we're in our 20s and we, want to lose a quick 5 or 10 pounds, it's easy. But then whenever you get to your 40s and your 50s, it's like, oh my gosh, it is so hard to get the scale to move.
Bro.
I've been trying to lose this same 5 pounds.
Exactly.
But here's also what happened though, Doc. Here's what happened though. You know what I'm saying? You start making some money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What your eating get better. You know what I'm saying? Your drinking get a little better. You know what I'm saying? You're not drinking Lone Stars anymore. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying? I'm not drinking Evan Williams. Like, yo, I got some Blantons. I got some Buffalo Trace whiskey. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, okay, you know what? I want steak. I got gout, but I want steak.
Yeah, I got gout, but I want steak.
Everything in moderation. Moderation is key.
Look, bro, that gout, gout ain't no joke. Let's just get that out there right now. First of all, it's not called the gout. Let's talk about that. But gout ain't no joke, and I think more of us need to know about it because we eat so much red meat. And I mean, and I like red wine too. But I'll never forget the day that I found out I had gout, bro. And I think I was like 24.
Really?
And yeah, bro. I was at my apartment, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and bro, my toe just started hurting. Wow. And I was like, what is this? And it was just like hurting and hurting. And so what do? I'm 24. So I do the 24-year-old thing. I'm like, you know what? I should drink the scotch. So that's going to make it feel better. It didn't. And then so like it got to the point where it hurt so bad. I was like, yo, I need to go to the hospital. And so I had somebody drive me to the hospital, and I'm there. I can't even I had to like get a wheelchair to get in. I'm sitting, you do the whole process at the hospital thing because you know they ain't in no hurry to get to you. They got people that got stab wounds. Like your gout is not on the top of their list. And so I finally get back there. My man's the on-call doctor comes in. My man saw me 20 seconds. He looked at me, he looked at my toe. He said, "You ever had gout?" I said, "No." He said, "That's what you got." He's like, "Here's some pills, go home."
Yeah. That quick. That easy.
But as soon as he gave me those pins, as soon as I got that naproxen, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. I'm like, I'm good. But I think if we understand, you know what I'm saying, like where those things come from. And I don't even know the long-term effects of gout. And I don't expect you to, but if you have them, like, let me know. Like if you don't treat it, is your toe just going to keep hurting, or does it spread, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Good questions. And I don't know much about it either.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't expect you to.
I always thought it was an old person like disease.
It comes from eating red meat and red wine, both of which I love.
Wow.
How much red meat are you eating to get gout?
We're in Texas.
No, bro, like
but my homie, he got gout and he got it real bad, and he's 34, 35. And no, he's 32. He's got it, and he's got it bad. Like every week, I'm like, hey, bro. I'm like, bro, you want to come to the house? We're going to have a cookout. He's like, nah, man, my gout flaming up. First of all, you need to chill out because I know you like Crown Royal. He gonna get me because he watched the podcast. I'm going to make that a clip, though, too.
That mean like we gotta do better. Like we gotta do I'm at 20-some years old, because like seriously, I always thought that those type of diseases were like those you know, Alzheimer's. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's also part of the problem is that we're so not tradition, but we're like taught that like these things don't affect us.
Yeah.
Because what is that, bro? Is that a mosquito? we're taught that these things don't affect us in our community because don't nobody talk about grandpa having. You know what I mean? Like,
but I'm gonna say it. I want to say it this way,
bro. I'm gonna be back. I gotta go kill this man. Y'all keep talking.
But I want to say, like, also, bro, like, we're not teaching. Because he was like, man, Crown Royal. Like, bro, you've been drinking Crown. He probably been drinking Crown Royal since he was 12. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the culture. The kind of culture has trickled down, especially in our African American community. Listen, I work this second half of the semester. I worked as a PE assistant, and I'm just looking at the 4th and 5th graders. I'm like, man, y'all doing stuff we was talking about in 8th grade.
Yeah,
they're exposed to and doing in 4th and 5th grade, but that's because we've allowed the gates open. Like gin and juice has become popular. You know what I mean? The cookouts. I mean, you know,
drinking gin juice.
And the kids aren't drinking it, but I mean, just as in our culture. So when you're coming and you're seeing what are they seeing? What are they watching? What are they hearing? Like, there is no protection of our kids. So when you get 20, 22, 23, 24, well, you've been exposed to that stuff and you've probably already indulged in that stuff. So you've already accelerated your life 6 or 7 years more than what because of what we're feeding them. Like, man, and I think that's one of the biggest things that worries me as a father. Like, I don't want my kid to be out of shape because I allow her to eat, and I ain't gonna be, I mean, we ain't the healthiest people around here, but at the same time, I don't want her to be unhealthy because of me. Yeah. And so one of the things that we've even started doing is, and I was telling Josh this too, like I've started waking her up early in the morning to go for a walk. So we go for a walk for about 15, 30 minutes every morning. Hey, she got a puppy. That ain't my job, ain't my duty. So you go.
It is your job. It is your job, bro. Like, let's just be real. That's your job.
She's 12 years old. I could see if she was 5 or 6, but we go. But anyway, so those are some of the things too. I think it's generationally how we pass things down to our kids, what we expose our kids to. So now we're having these diseases like diabetes, and diabetes is not, I'm starting to realize it's more hereditary as well. If I'm getting that right. It's not just what they're eating, it's just passed down from the parents. So it's a lot, bro.
Yeah. I mean, and for myself, there's a lot of things that I don't do that I try to, still pass on to my kids. Like, I really don't like fresh vegetables. Like, I don't like salads. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
I'm not judging you. I'm just like, hey, I don't like eating fresh fruit.
And it's just like seeing the doctor on the outside of the hospital smoking a cigarette. Like,
no, trust me. I have tried to eat, salads. Every time I eat salads, I always get like a really bad stomach ache. I was vegan for like 18 months.
Okay.
I was vegan for 18 months. And I mean, I can do cooked vegetables, but man, once I got to do, like fresh cauliflower, fresh broccoli, it tears up my stomach. But for my kids, I want to try to expose them to those things. My daughter, she'll eat, fresh tomatoes, and she'll eat, all the vegetables that we feed to her. So, even though I don't do certain things the right way all the time, I want my kids to,
Yeah.
I like how do you sauteed in garlic butter.
So how do you get moving with your family, man? Like, how do you keep active with having 2 kids, a wife, a doctor?
Yeah. So I mean, for me, I have to always take care of myself first. I always start off my day. Well, not always, but most days, I'm in the gym like at 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's how I start my day typically. And then with my kids, they like to be on their scooters. I try to get them outside at least on the weekend, sometimes during the week. But I think starting with myself first, making sure that I'm healthy and that I'm moving, it's easier to kind of pass that to my kids.
But how do you do that? So I'm asking for me because I've been using this excuse that, I can't work out in the morning anymore because I have 2 small children. So I have an 11-month-old and I have a 2.5-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So what I've started doing this past week is I wake up at 4:30 just to do I'll start stretching just to make sure I'm stretching real good, like 15, 20 minutes of stretching. I'll do my devotional. I'll pray. So it's like, then it's like 5 o'clock and I'll get back in the bed. Well, about 5:15, the baby starts. So like, I know that I have like 30 to 45 minutes. So that's in my head, that's not enough time for me to work out, shower, and then help my wife. Because I don't want to leave my wife with both the kids because it's fine for me because I work from home most days. But if she has to go to the office, now, okay, I got to watch the kids while she's getting ready, putting on makeup, doing her face and blah, 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 blah. And so how do you do, like, how does that work for you so I can make it work for me?
You have to find the time that's easiest for you, a time that you can stick to. I've tried nighttime workouts. For me, it's hard for me to work out at night because I'm tired myself. And so it just works for me to do it first thing in the morning. But, maybe you could try it during your lunch break, try different times and see what sticks.
So that's the other thing. I like to work out outside.
Yeah.
And so, the home that we just moved into, I have like a long driveway in my backyard. I have a lot of space. So I got a lot of space to move around. And I don't want to pay for, I'm tired of paying people. So I don't want to pay for a gym membership. Yeah. Because then if I do that, then I got to drive to the place, work out, then I got to drive home. And I'm like, yo, why can't I just take advantage of what the Lord blessed me with here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a brother and be like, yeah, that 30 minutes when you was laying down, you should have been working out, bro. You said like you do your devotional and then you lay down, and as soon as you get up, lay down, it's time to get back up. I was like, yeah, when you instead of
I'll lay down for like 15 to 20 more minutes because I know that baby's about to wake up at like
that 15, 20 more minutes got to go to that workout, bro.
Yeah, put it towards the workout.
I'm barely getting up and stretching and paying attention to the Lord's word. So I'm gonna make sure I prioritize that.
I got you. I'm just saying, take the extra 20 minutes.
Kevin,
Rob agreed. Rob agreed.
I agree with you. And I mean, for me personally, I have.
We'll see y'all next week.
I have equipment at my house, but it's something about being in the gym that kind of gets me motivated. I'm not very social. I don't really talk to people, but something about being in that environment, it keeps me motivated.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why he's an anesthesiologist, because he ain't got to talk to him.
All he says is
count back from 100.
100.
Pretty much.
But Kev, I don't know if you missed it, Kev. He said he got equipment at the house. So what we're missing is doctor money. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Let me go be a doctor real quick. I'll be
back. Man, I think also like starting a routine. So, and this is what one of the things that I've also is trying to explain to Kendall. I was like, listen, if we get up in the morning, because right now Lulu, the dog is still on a routine. The dog is still on. Y'all, we going to school, so the dog is up at 7:00. Where y'all at? I'm ready to go. So instead of breaking the routine, it's like, hey, let's just change our routine. So we're not getting up to go to school in the morning, but we're going to get up and we're going to take this 30 minutes to go walk and actually get our body moving and going. And I've actually seen a difference in her because, like, you would think she'll go and get in the bed. Now she's getting up and she's playing with her Legos that she's been holding on to forever. And I'm like, dude, why did I buy these Legos, right? But just seeing how just being outdoors and being active. And for me, Josh, like, bro, get me from 5 to 10 and don't contact me until 6 or 7 o'clock. Because in between 10 and 7 is the hottest part of the day for me, bro. I mean, like, nah, I ain't doing nothing. But and then evenings is touchy for me too, because me and mosquitoes don't get along.
Oh man,
bro. Listen, I'm about to pull the curtain back right now. So, Kev, I told you that we're kind of doing some work at the house, right? We're building a deck in our backyard. We got some rock area and it's not usable. So I'm like, let's put a deck there. So we was out there last night, right? And it's TMI. And if y'all got this far in the podcast, I mean, y'all rock with us, so it don't really matter. Bruh, a mosquito bit me on the butt last night. And listen, I didn't notice it until like it was too late. My man must have been there for a minute. Like a whole minute. My wife is like, let me see it. She's like, oh yeah. So, bro, and I had on long johns. I had on everything.
Bro, they don't care. They don't care.
My man got me. Yo, Doc, tell us something, man, that we don't know about you, bro. Like, I feel like the people want to know. Like, doctors are like these mysterious creatures. Like we all just assume they got a lot of money and they just don't do anything. And so it's just like, tell us something we don't know about you.
Man, I'm an open book. I mean, let me think. Married with kids, live in Peoria, Illinois. Work out.
We can find all that out from IG, bro. You like to play with lemons, like wow.
What do you not know? Let me see.
While he's thinking, y'all go to IG. Go look at this video. He's sitting down and he's got a bowl of lemons right behind him. Video ain't that long, but it is great information. It is great information.
Yes.
But the presentation. But how are you supposed to present that? I don't know. How are you supposed to present someone telling them to, examine themselves in the crowd? What are you doing with your hand? Which is crazy. Lumps, anyways. Back to you, man.
Something you don't know. I used to work at Chicago O'Hare Airport.
Wow.
Doing what?
So there was this airline, Frontier Airlines.
Yep.
They were starting international. Man, I'm super old. This was in 2012. And so they were just starting flights.
9 years.
Yeah, they were just starting international flights at O'Hare Airport. So I used to check people in. And then I would also board the plane. And there was one time where I actually messed it up. I think you're supposed to board the plane from back to front. They do it differently though. But I accidentally called the wrong people, and it ended up delaying when we could, take off. And so I messed that up. And I think every minute that the plane departure time is delayed, it cost the airline thousands of dollars.
Wow.
It was a pretty big mess. But that was a lot of fun, working at the airport and, having your little security badge and all that.
Bro, I thought you was going to say you was in baggage claim because I got some questions.
I work baggage claim.
I got a question, Doc. When did you meet your wife, and what part of your medical journey, and what does your wife do? Number one, what does your wife do?
Yeah, so I met my wife when I was in medical school. She was at the law school at Howard University. And and I actually found her. I was turning 24 years old, and I was talking to my dad, and he said, "You know what? It's time for you to find a wife."
At 24?
Your daddy was like, "Hey, bro, you need to grow up and get out of my house." Listen.
Nah, what Pops was saying was, "Hey, son, your check's about to get a little bigger, so you need someone that's gonna ride with you right now."
Yeah,
later.
Yeah.
And so I joined. I didn't join, but I did a preview of this dating website called Christian Mingle. And so I found her profile, but I didn't want to pay for the membership. So Facebook. I found her on Facebook.
Hey, when he said he found his wife. Yes,
my man slid in the DMs.
And so we courted for 6 months, and then I proposed, and then we got married within a year of knowing each other. So it all happened pretty quick. Been married for about 11 years this July. So
congratulations, bro.
Thanks.
So you that's the type of stuff you gotta know what you want by then. You know what I mean? But that's crazy. At 24, you knew what you wanted, because at 24, what I wanted was shots. I wasn't looking for Mrs. Right. You know what I mean? But that's such a dope story, man. You don't hear that as often. But the crazy thing is, it happens so much more than you think.
Yeah.
And I think people are hesitant to tell that story. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I got a little homie from my church. He just graduated from PV. And so now he's working at Amazon, making money, and got a little girlfriend. And I was just like, how'd you meet her? And he like looked around for a second, like this the little homie, like what's the homie? This is not like some dude I just met. And so he was just still nervous to tell me. He was like, I met her online. I was like, okay, what's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I wish it was more talked about. That's all. Just because it happens more often than you think. Like, I talk to my wife and I tell her, I joke with her all the time. I'm like, yo, if something happened to us, I don't even know where to meet another woman. Like, do I go to a bar? Do I ask, like, do you come to my house, or do you know what do we do?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a rant.
So my next question was going to be like, how did she handle you going through medical school? But she was in law school, so she probably was looking at you like, hey, bro, I'm finna graduate. What's up with you? Like, what you finna do? Or did you, because I know you guys have the 2 babies, and how old are they?
My daughter's 6 and my son is 3.
So at some point there had to be a break in career, a break in passion. Okay, am I gonna go back to this? Am I gonna stay home? What you gonna do with your career? Like, what are some insights that you can give on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. It really was tough because, like you mentioned, there's so many different steps to the process, and she had to put her career on hold. She. Being in the DC area, there's so many great jobs, political jobs and big corporations and Congress and, law firms. But, I had to do my residency in Little Rock, Arkansas. And so she had to kind of leave all that, come to Little Rock where there isn't
ain't nothing in Little Rock.
Driving, legal market.
So you knew she loved you.
Yeah, I'm leaving DC for Bill Clinton's Little Rock.
Yeah, and then after residency, we moved to Peoria, so she had to kind of put her career on pause. And she had already, after law school, she had taken the Maryland bar. She was ready to practice law. But now we're moving to Arkansas, and then here to Illinois. She had to retake the Illinois bar, and then. For me, I had to take all these medical exams, and all the studying and stuff could be kind of stressful.
Yeah.
But we just had to support each other and kind of endure all of the different phases together.
Wow. I love that, man. He said support each other and endure. Support and endure. So, y'all, if y'all don't get nothing else, support and endure. Doc, I got one more question, man.
Yeah.
What is the craziest thing you've seen in the hospital?
Ooh.
I don't know if HIPAA lets you say something. So if not, change the names and I don't know. But
oh my God. I wish I could tell you about what happened last night, but I can't because of HIPAA.
Well, if you just said last night, oh golly. If you wouldn't have said it happened last night, you probably could have told us.
Hey, but that's how you know you're dealing with a good brother. He couldn't even hide it. He was just like,
bro, we was about to get some juice. Like
the craziest thing that's happened, I have seen some crazy stuff. But I mean, the good thing about the good thing about anesthesia is that if you're vigilant, you can prevent a lot of bad things from happening. Just kind of keeping an eye on things, anticipating for things to go wrong. One thing I thought about earlier, whenever you mentioned, Black physicians, there are some patients who are not excited about getting a Black doctor. Like some Black people. There was one time where I had this Black lady. She saw me in the pre-op clinic, and she just was like, "So are you the doctor?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm the doctor." And she just kind of seemed very hesitant. And then she came in for her procedure, and her doctor that day was one of my friends. He's an Indian guy. And she asked him, like, is that Black guy who I saw in pre-op clinic, is he really a doctor? And he was like, yeah, he is. And she was like, I don't really want him to be my doctor. And
was it a black lady?
Yeah, it was. So that kind of just it surprised me. So I mean, even with our own community, sometimes we don't trust each other.
You still didn't answer my question though.
The craziest thing I see.
I'm not gonna let it go. You might as well make something up.
Look, just don't start with last night.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be somebody that you were dealing with, just in general. Because I mean, especially in the hospital, I'm sure, y'all share stories in the lounge area.
Some crazy stuff happens. I've seen so you mentioned that you kind of, whenever you see the sight of blood, it makes you feel queasy. Mm-hmm. We've had times where the surgery techs have fainted in the operating room. They've fallen and busted their heads. Yeah. What? Yeah.
Wait.
The people that's supposed to be taking care of you, they didn't came in there and they said, you know what? I
don't like blood. Well, I mean, sometimes after you've gone through school, after you've kind of, done all that, it's too late to kind of
go back. Yeah, you're in it.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about, she was still in training, so she wasn't out of school yet. But it's something that you get used to. A lot of people, it's not even blood that they get queasy about, but like saliva and secretions. Really? That bothers them. But you get used to it after a while.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You know what? That's who else said that? Because Jamal King, 9 to 5 millionaire, he said, because when he was working for Chicago PD and he was working the paddy wagon, like they pick up the dead bodies, and he said you get used to the smell.
Yeah.
And my day job, I'm an insurance agent. Well, I insure this company. What they do is they actually, after a homicide or something like that, they're the biohazard team that goes and cleans it up. I was like, bro, I know you didn't smell some things. He's like, you get used to it. He's like, I can eat my lunch, put it down, go in there, do what I got to do, and then clean my hands and go back in the truck and keep eating.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you a real one.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Before we go, bro, I just got a question about Black doctors. Like, what are you seeing in the industry? What are we needing from, our people, who's looking for careers and stuff? Like, because y'all, he is a doctor, but he's an anesthesiologist. So it doesn't necessarily means that he's cutting people open and stuff. He's still a doctor. He's still in the surgery room, but he's not a surgeon. So I just, what do we need? Because a lot of times, like one of the biggest issues, like Black Wall Street, Tulsa, and we talk about these great things and how do we build these things back up? Well, we need certain people in place. We need doctors in place. We need lawyers in place. We need to start filling in these holes so that we can have people that look like us that can identify our illnesses faster than most doctors will be able to. So what do we need in the field of the industry of I don't even know what to call it, but dentistry, doctors, medical field. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, it starts early. It starts at an early age. Both of my kids, I talk to them about my work, about what I do, and they both tell me that they want to be doctors. Like, Dad, can you bring us to doctor school? And I tell them, you need to first focus on your homework. We have them both in a program called Kumon, where they kind of get supplemental learning. And so for me, STEM education, science, technology, engineering, mathematics are very important for our kids to go into and excel at. And so that's one area that I think we need more Blacks in. And there's so much, there's so many programs, so much funding, scholarships out there to try to push, Black youth and Black young people into. So I'm a big a big supporter of getting our kids into STEM programs. There's so many great health careers. Nursing is always going to be in demand. You mentioned
are the like people that work at the labs, are those doctors? Because I know my sister-in-law, she's down at LSU, and I mean, she's taking all her organic chemistry and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, nobody ever thinks about working in the people at the actual labs that she's like, we don't see people. We get the vials and we send it back. And I'm like, are they doctors or?
There's different roles. So you might have in the lab the pathologist. And so what they do is they'll receive specimens and samples, and they'll look at them, and they can diagnose certain cancers. And, so there are pathologists who work in those stores.
They make a lot of money though, huh?
Well, I'm just
he couldn't even say that. He was like,
I'm just thinking about stuff though that, you know what I'm saying, like where people be like, oh, well, I don't want to see clients, or I don't want to cut nobody open, or I don't want to, you know what I mean? I'm just like, well, yo, you can go make your bread over here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. My daughter, she's in between right now. She's 2.5, and she watches a lot of Doc Mix stuff, and so she wants to be a toy doctor, or she wants to be cars. That's where we at. But Doc McStuffins, y'all. If y'all ain't on Doc McStuffins, y'all need to get on it. Stop sleeping.
Yeah, I wish that, and this is just from the heart speaking. I'm a Robert. You know, if you seen my Instagram, a lot of work is community work for me. I work with young men. I work with teen fathers. And if you're listening to this and you have a program, make your program excellent for our babies. Like it's one thing to have a program, to say you have a program, but there's another thing to have a program. Our kids are getting something from that program. They're able to take that information and apply it somewhere else. We can no longer continue to have these programs and getting funding, but we can't produce nothing out of what we getting this funding for. So that's just from the heart. Like, hey man, I've seen it. I've seen programs. Yeah, we're going to do X, Y, Z. You look at it and you're like, bro, like, because you're taking from other people who are really passionate about the work, who are really wanting to do some great things for the community. So definitely. And I think STEM is great. One of the things that we're looking for our kid, and I'm just piggybacking off of Josh, like we're looking at our kids and trying to figure out what can we instill into them? And she loves animals. So for us, we're trying to find schools that will possibly give her a veterinarian tech certification so she can go and work in the industry, with things with animals. She loves animals, but then she can get paid a decent wage and not just be, you know what I mean? Not just be like, oh, well, I can go work at Gap, or I can go work at Old Navy, or I can go work at Tom Thumb. Like, no, then here, you got a certification, go. And there's things that they do that for medical field as well. I think those people who take the blood, what's that?
Phlebotomist.
Yeah,
they can get certifications for those things too. So
yeah, a lot of schools though, a lot of ISDs have the tech centers or career centers. Because I know, so I'm in Louisville ISD, bro. We have 2 tech centers actually, and I think we have 164 programs. So from auto mechanic, equine, medical, like we have all of these, and like we have 5. Like we have a deal with the local firefighters. That where you can graduate high school with your firefighter certification, and like from jump go to the academy. And I'm like, that's because that usually takes 2 years. But anyways, and then you got to do the whole EMT thing. But like, yo, there are options, and I just want everybody to know there are options. So we don't need to limit our kids. Doc, before we get out of here, man, do you got final thoughts, final words, final suggestions, final whatever? I mean, if you just want to say a prayer, you can do that.
I just want to thank you guys for your platform, for inspiring other guys to be good fathers. And I want to touch upon again, this is Men's Health Month, and so all guys out there, make sure that you see your primary care doctor. They can direct you towards what tests you need, whether it be the colonoscopy or the prostate check, all that. We have to stay around for our families, and we need to enjoy good, healthy years while we're here on this earth.
That's good, Doc. That's good. Kev, what you got, man?
Man, the doc said it all. Listen, African-American males, we have to go to the doctor, especially at the 40-year-old age. Like, I'm looking forward to it. Listen, I'm ready. But we have to go to the doctor. We have to get healthy. We have to stay healthy. We don't need to die before the mother of our kids. We don't need to die before our kids. Like, we talk about building wealth, building riches, and what we're working for. You can't do that if you ain't healthy. So get your rest, get your peace, go get your check your test, go get the lemon test. Go get the lemon test, you know what I mean? But do what you got to do to be a healthy father, to be a healthy man. And as always, it's great to be on the podcast with my brothers. Thank you, Rob, for being with us, bro.
Thank you.
Y'all, Kev ain't gonna be invited back. I'm just kidding. Yo, man, for real, Doc, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate everybody out there on TV land, internet land, podcast land. Go like, subscribe, review, comment, share the podcast. Yo, we trying to run the numbers up. So just keep running them up, and we'll see y'all next week. Take care. Peace.